What is up, fellas? We are back. We have a interesting video today. If you are an altcoin holder, you're gonna want to watch to the end. Not gonna lie. Do not skip this one. This is very important. Because if you do hold altcoins, I do not want you to round trip your bags. And that's kind of the gist of the video. And yeah, I'm not gonna, go on to what I'm going to be talking about. I'm just going to kind of just get into it. And yeah, so pretty much, first of all, green tea today. One of my favorites, especially it's early in the morning, so I usually have green tea in the mornings. Great benefits, if you guys didn't know. Antioxidants, energy, increased energy expenditure, increased metabolism. I mean, it's just a great... It's just great. It's really great. So pretty much, I actually made this video already yesterday, and for some reason, half of the voice audio got cut off. So I was kind of upset about that because I was spitting, guys. I was spitting, and there was a lot of good information there. So I'm kind of just gonna redo the video. Hopefully I don't miss any points, but yeah. So pretty much, the gist of this video is to be able to take profits. And it's a very tough topic because it's the hardest thing to do in crypto, and it's why 99% of crypto traders lose, is not being able to lock in profits and not knowing how to take profits at what time in the cycle. Now, I already made a video about my profit taking strategy, and the charts I'm looking at, I went over total 3 divided by Bitcoin. I went over, total market cap. I went over the others dominance. I went over others ETH. All these charts. Obviously, you're gonna want to look at these when you're taking profits. But there is a certain level of profit taking where these charts don't matter, because essentially each individual coin is going to have a unique individual performance in the bull run. So you need to take that into consideration. Not every coin is going to perform like the average market does, the average altcoin does in the market, is what I'm trying to say, if that makes sense to you guys. So where I'm trying to go with this is I'm going to show you guys some charts, give you guys some examples, and try to paint the picture of what I mean here. So first of all, I think most investors are going to end up round tripping their bags this cycle. And it's unfortunate because that's just how it has to play out. 99% of crypto traders have to lose in order for the market makers to win. But ultimately, I think that's what's going to happen. Now, I'm going to give some examples. Let's start with XRP. All right. Guys, I'm sorry, this green tea is just absolutely hitting this morning. Wow. Yeah, so XRP. If we look, we have the 2017 cycle top, and we have the 2021 cycle top. Now, obviously, they had the lawsuit in 2021, so they were dealing with some stuff, but ultimately, there was 2 altcoin seasons, right? Obviously, there was one here. This was one of the greatest runs in altcoin history. And ultimately, there was another altcoin season in 2021. If you bought the lows, you still would have made a 16x return, 17x return, although it didn't break its all-time high. So the thing is that if you were holding XRP and you were buying down here, and you anticipated XRP to, go and hit a new all-time high, well, it didn't. And if you didn't sell any on the way up, you didn't make any money. You round trip your bags, and you ended up holding until the next cycle. So there's some more examples I could show of this. It's not just XRP. All right, let's go into something like Bitcoin Cash. Did the same exact thing. Made a substantial new lower high in 2021. Although, you still would have made money if you bought the lows. If you bought down here, you would have made a 22x, a 23x actually, 2200%. So, if you were one of those people who thought Bitcoin Cash was going back to $5,000 and you didn't sell any in this range, you made no money this bull, the last bull run, and you would have round-tripped your bags until the next cycle. Now, what a lot of these coins are looking like is they have these descending wedges. Now, obviously, Bitcoin Cash could break out. I expect it to honestly go towards the 2021 cycle top again this cycle, just from the momentum we're seeing here. But you don't know. No one knows. So, you know, it's interesting. And it just comes to the point of you need to be able to take profits. Now, I have some more examples. Litecoin, another good example. Pretty much got to the same exact high made in 2017. So once again, if you thought this was going to $1,000, you made no money if you didn't sell at increments on the way up here. Same thing. This is Monero, another older cryptocurrency. Ultimately, it did break its all-time high, but not, you know, nothing crazy. It pretty much went back to its previous all-time high. It also would have been hard to sell here. This is low liquidity, just, you know, a temporary spike. But ultimately, same thing, same picture. We go to another one, IOTA. This is a very good example. IOTA is a coin that I actually kind of like. Good project. I think it's here for the future, potentially. But once again, is this just a descending wedge for now? And a lot of these coins, what I've noticed is if you draw fibs, let's get rid of this one. If you draw these fibs, right, from the top to the bottom of next cycle, let's call it right here, usually it'll get back to the 0.786 to the 618. Okay, this is kind of a top region for you know, a lot of these altcoins that I'm looking at that didn't break its previous all-time highs. So, you know, if we look at last cycle to this cycle, if the same thing plays out, which it definitely could, 0.786 to 618, we're looking at around $1.30 to 75 cents for IOTA this cycle. If this plays out. Now, obviously, this stuff doesn't have to play out. IOTA could pump this cycle all the way up to $15. You know, you don't know, obviously, but I don't know either. And that's the point of this video: is you do not know where price is going to go. So, the smartest thing to do this cycle, okay, is, in my opinion, once we hit, you know, this is for each specific altcoin. Once we hit the 786 to the 618, this range, okay, this range right here that I just talked about, you want to be 40% out. All right, you want to be 40% of them out of your position. Okay, I don't care what the fundamentals are. I don't care if you think it's gonna go way higher. Like, I don't care. If you want to play the smart and you want to not round trip your bags, the smartest thing to do is to take profits when they're there. So, in my opinion, that means 20% out at the 618, 20% out at the 786, maybe even more. Okay, that's done. Wow, that was really good. Depending, you know, maybe even more depending on where the markets are at. Obviously, you have the charts I showed you in the last video about taking profits, where you have these other charts you can be looking at. You can be looking at Bitcoin dominance. You know, all these other charts will kind of give you a good idea of where the market's at. And, you know, if you're getting your top signals when, you know, IOTA is only at 85 cents, then, you know, maybe it's going to come back down next cycle and do the same thing. But ultimately, it shouldn't matter to you, because if you're buying down here, if you're buying the lows and it only goes to, let's say, $1.30, that top of the 786, you're still making a 12x return on your money. So that's the point of the video. Now, these were some good examples, these 5 I just gave you. Let me just check to make sure the audio is still running. Yep, it is. Okay. This last video, that was frustrating. I literally just lost an entire video. But yeah, so some examples of what I think this could happen to this cycle is, number 1, we have Polygon. Now, the thing with Polygon, let's go over to some stats here. You know, I think this is going to happen to a lot of coins where either A, the community is not really popping off this cycle. You know, the advertisement, the hype is not there. Or 2, the platform itself is just not growing and it's not outperforming last cycle. So Polygon is a good example. If you look at 2021, this is June of 2021, we had just about $10 billion in TVL. This is just in DeFi, so $10 billion in TVL. And right now we're only at 1.174. So not even close. Not even close. So is Polygon a dying chain? Maybe. Maybe it's just, you know, it just, I wouldn't know. You know, you can't really say it's dying, but you know, it's probably just underperforming compared to the other chains this cycle. Is what I think is going on. But nonetheless, I think Polygon's going to be one of those coins that do not break its 2021 cycle high, because Polygon had a lot of hype. It really did, and it ran all the way up to just about $3. And this could be another case of just a descending wedge. Maybe it's even a little less exaggerated. Maybe it's something like this. But yeah, ultimately, I expect Polygon to go to that 786 to 618, which puts Polygon at anywhere from $1.50-ish to $1, which is not bad considering if you bought the lows and it goes to the 786, you're still making a 10x return on your money. So it's still not bad, okay? Now, obviously, Polygon's something I'm not invested in. I'm really not a fan, just because of the stats I just showed you. I just think the chain is just, there's not a huge use for it right now, especially with Base that just came out. You know, a lot of these Ethereum layer 2s are just a little underperforming. You know, you have Arbitrum doing decent, but you know, Arbitrum and Base, it's really those two. And everything else is not really doing that hot this cycle. Now, that isn't to say that Polygon can't break its all-time high. It definitely could, but you just don't know, and I think the probability is unlikely. Example number 2 is Polkadot, another ecosystem that I just think is not really growing too much this cycle, or at least growing to the rate it did in 2021. So, once again, Polygon, I think, oops, threw this the wrong way. I think Polygon gets back to the 618, which puts it at $17, and it could go as well as high, you know, as high as the 786, which puts it at $30, which you might think is underwhelming because it went to 54. And if you're holding Polkadot, you're thinking that, you know, it's going to break its all-time high, like, oh wow, Polkadot, it's going to go to 65 bucks, $100, and it only goes to $30. Well, if you didn't take profits, you just missed a 9x return. So, you know, price predictions are good, but you can never actually tell where the price is going. So the gist of this video is to take profits. Now, some examples of personally my portfolio and how I'm implementing this, right? Number 1 is Chainlink. So Chainlink's interesting because I think Chainlink is a coin that will break its 2021 all-time high. And I think we're going to see, you know, a $70 to $100 Chainlink, maybe even more this cycle. But obviously, the thing is that I don't know that. So Personally, what I'm doing is I took out a big chunk already at $22. This is at the 618. I already sold 20% off, and I plan on selling another 20% at $31. So once again, the 618 to the 786, this is where I'm selling a big chunk, almost half my chain link. And you might think that's stupid because chain link could go to 100, but once again, like I showed you, if chain link only goes to maybe its all-time high, or maybe like just sweeps the high and comes back down, I would round trip my bags for next cycle. So that's what you do not want to happen. You just do not want to happen. So take profits when they are there. It is just so important. Another example, Aerodrome Finance. I think this is going to several dollars. I think this can go to $3, $4, $5. But once again, I have sold off a bunch at $1.44, and I plan to, you know, actually this is at the 76. So yeah, I took off a bunch off the table here, and I plan on taking off a bunch of the table at the all-time high. But I already took off profits, and you might be thinking, wow, that's stupid because Aerodrome could go to a couple dollars easily. It's already sitting at $1. We're early in the cycle, but you know, at the same time, I was buying down here. My average cost is, you know, 50 cents around. I just made a 3x return, a little bit more than a 3x return. So I'm taking profits. And once again, if you were buying the absolute lows, you would have made a almost a 6x return. So that is the power of having conviction and buying when, you know, the market is down. Because if your average cost is low down here, then you are able to comfortably take profits at, you know, the 786 and the 618 without, you know, feel like you're missing out. And yeah, so another example, I'm going to give two more examples, is we have Veracity here, another holding of mine. Once again, oops, wrong tool. Once again, 786, I'm going to be 40% out at 0.033 cents, $0.033. I mean, but yeah, same kind of idea. You want to take profits when they're there. I think Veracity could make an all-time high this cycle, but at the same time, I don't know if it will. So you know, you gotta be wary of that. You gotta be cautious, and you can't bank on it, because if you hold all your tokens for when it hits all-time high and it doesn't, then you made $0. You literally made zero because you didn't take any profits off the table. So one more example, Quant. Now look, if you know me, I've been hyping up Quant. Oh, damn, that felt good. If you know me, I might usually when you sneeze, you always sneeze twice. It's crazy. I don't know why that happens. But yeah, so Quant, if you know me, I've been hyping up Quant for years now. Now I think Quant is going anywhere from you know, the 2.0 to the 286 here. I think it's going from anywhere to $800 to $2,000 this cycle. You know, it's only sitting at $1 billion market cap. It's a utility coin, and I think that the Quant team is going to pump their token pretty hard. But at the same time, let's say it doesn't. Okay, Quant is a good example. I've been buying. My average cost is around $100. Now, Quant's a good example where let's take this fib. The 786 is at around just under $300, right? So Quant's a good example where you got to take profits before it even hits all-time high. You know, what if Quant, like I said, does something like this, goes to the 786 and just comes back down? It could happen, and in that case, if I don't take profits in this region, I make $0. So ultimately, my game plan with Quant is to take profits at the 786 at around $270, $280 before it hits all-time high. I'm going to be significantly out. You know, obviously I'm still holding a significant portion, probably majority of my holdings up until a little bit higher. But, you know, the thing is that as you hold higher and higher and higher, your risk goes up as well. So, you know, the risk-adjusted return is just not there for a lot of these altcoins. A lot of them. Now, Quant's an interesting project because, you know, I think it's going to break its all-time high. I think it's going to $1,000. You know, if you look at a lot of coins from their cycle top to the cycle bottom, they dropped 90 to 99%. Most of them 95% plus. I'm talking about altcoins. And Quant actually dropped, let's take that low, but it only dropped 88, and it's been hovering pretty steady around the $100 range. So it's really only, you know, 75-ish% down from its cycle top. So it's kind of stronger than a lot of altcoins this cycle, this bear market especially. So that's why I like Quant. It just shows its strength. But, you know, ultimately, I don't know where Quant's going to go. I cannot tell you the price. I can tell you it's going to $1,000 all I want, but at the end of the day, I have no idea where it's going. I literally can't tell you. No one can tell you. Maybe the only people that can is like the insiders from Quant, the people who control the money supply, people who control most of the tokens. But even them, like, they can only do so much math and kind of do so much predictions where they also don't know. So this is how I'm being cautious. This is how I'm taking profits smartly. So yeah, those are some good examples. Obviously we have some other examples here, like even Dogecoin, but I think Dogecoin's going to break its all-time high. But if it doesn't, you know, and if it only goes back to this January high at 45 cents, 50 cents, and you didn't take profits, you know, you're gonna lose out again. And yeah, I'm not gonna dive too much into a lot of these examples. I think that's pretty good for this video. I think that's all I really wanted to talk about is just, you know, take profits before all-time high and be wary of the fact that, you know, this could play out in a lot of coins. And even though we will see an alt season, we might not see all-time highs from every single coin, because last cycle, this is how it played out. And I think it's going to play out again this cycle. You know, you just looking at all these charts, there's way more examples of this too. It's not just these 5 coins, it's not just IOTA, it's not just Bitcoin. Like, there's so many examples of this playing out. And I think it's going to happen to a lot of coins this cycle. Filecoin, I think it's going to happen to this cycle. That's also a good example. I didn't show you that, but there's just so many. I just thought that off the top of my head. But I think there's a lot of coins where this could happen to. And, you know, if you're not prepared, you're going to end up round-tripping your bags to 2029 again, which you do not want, because, like I just said, most coins will drop 90 to 99% in the bear market, and it's just going to be brutal for you. You do not want to hold your coins through 2026, these altcoins. You really do not. You want to be 100% out, or at least 90% out of your positions. But yeah, that's pretty much just the video. I would have had this up yesterday if the audio didn't bug out, which is kind of annoying, but we almost got back-to-back uploads. I think this is like 2 days apart, but yeah, stay tuned for the next video. Not sure what it's going to be. If you guys have any suggestions, if you guys want to see anything specific, make sure to drop it in the comments. I will make a video for you, and I will go over whatever you want me to go over, okay? I'm kind of just freestyling this and just making this on my own terms, but if there's anything you guys want to see, make sure to drop it in the comments. You know, also drop in the comments what you're doing with your portfolio, where you see the market going. You know, I'm always interested to see other people's opinions, and I'm always down to talk crypto. I mean, come on, there's nothing better than talking crypto. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you aren't, because we are going on the moon. Check out the Road to a Million series, because we are going to hit 1 million eventually, 100%. But yeah, let's keep getting it, guys. Bitcoin, we need it to pump. But yeah, that's pretty much it. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.